Sorry.
Oh my, sorry.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Let me bend though.
Alright, let's go sideways. Are you okay now? Yeah.
Mm.
Do you need some water?
Probably not that one.
Okay. So you are all welcome officially. My name is Mark Tete. I am the guide. We are doing a walking tour, and it's taking us about 1 hour. My sister, there's some light at the back.
Oh, sorry.
That is only giving me a feedback. Yeah. So if you can.
I didn't know it was on. Sorry.
Thank you. Thank you for understanding. And I'll start the tour first with a short introduction. After that, we move straight into the mill dungeons. British kept about 1,000 captives and in the underground dungeons. We come out and talk about some graves. And we move to the female dungeons and to the door of no return. However, I promise you, today, Tuesday, we shall return peacefully. So do not panic. If we do that, we'll have ourselves condemned in a cell within the dungeons. And if God willing, we survive the condemnation. We still have some strength and time. We shall go up because the British were here with our ancestors. But they live upstairs enjoying breeze. Now people were kept in this darkness. We shall go through these places all. Now this is historic Cape Coast Castle or dungeons. But the word Cape Coast itself, it is a corrupted Portuguese word from the word Cabo Corso, which means short cape. And British corrupted that one into Cape Coast. This structure we are in this morning is the youngest and the last slave dungeon in Ghana. Ghana, we have 3 of these major dungeons and several of the forts along the coast that were built by Europeans. But the first of its kind is at Elmina. I've been to Elmina? That was built in the year 1482. Look at the date, 1482, by Portuguese. The one in Accra, that one was built by the Danish around 1661. Where we are gathered now was started by the British in 1665. So if you look at the ages, this one is the youngest among the 3 major ones. This one was built at the time Transatlantic slave trafficking started on the continent of Africa for about 200 years already. Because this trafficking in Africa started at the first castle of Mina, but not this one. And that was during the 1500s, when in the history of the whole world, there was this man called Christopher Columbus. He said he discovered the Americas, which we know it is not true. So when he said so, the Spanish people moved from Europe to those places and they established their plantations where they needed labor to work. So they tried to use the indigents, called the Native Americans, or the Red Indians, to work for them. But according to the same Europeans, they said those people were not strong and they were dying from diseases. So there was a Roman Catholic bishop. His name was Bartolomeo de las Casas. He suggested or petitioned the Spanish crown to look for alternative source of labor to replace the Native Americans. What I know that even before the start of the transatlantic slave trafficking, and the whites came to build the structures like this along the coast of West Africa, there was what we call the trans-Saharan trade, which the Arabs took some of our ancestors through the Saharan desert to Europe. So some of those people were taken from Europe, especially from Spain and Lisbon, to the New when they tried them. The first place they were taken to was called Hispaniola, today's Haiti. And those people proved to be physically strong. So at first, the whites were taking Africans from Europe to the Americas to work. But with time, Africans in Europe got finished because that is not the land of Africa. They had to come back to the land of Africa again to take the blacks to the New. And that was the time Portuguese built Elmina Castle, which is not far from here. Portuguese came to this country in search of gold because our country was once called Gold Coast. So gold brought the white men. They will tell you they came to spread Christianity. That is not the truth. They came because of our natural resources. So Portuguese were at Elmina, trading in gold were given a legal license by the Spanish people. They called that one asiento, to transport Africa from Elmina to the New World. Gentlemen, are you to join us? Yeah. You are welcome. Just come down, come down, come down. Can you get closer, please? To the New World. So the whole of West Africa, Portuguese started this trafficking at Elmina Castle. So they were there about 150 years, buying and selling our people. The Dutch attacked them in 1637. So that's where at Elmina Castle about 50 years. The British also traveled to this place. When British got here in the year 1664, Dutch who at Elmina occupied this piece of land. So British fought them. 1664, they defeated them. And 1664 was the same year a state in North America called New York, then New Amsterdam, changed from Dutch to British people. The same the British conquered the Dutch over here. When the British defeated the Dutch, they started the construction. The construction went through stages. It went through demolition, addition, demolition. It was built over 100 years using free and cheap African labor. The way they designed it, these dungeons alone, they kept about 1,300 people at a given time. Men like us were here, 1,000. That's against 300. That is why we're coming to see this morning. They stayed 2 weeks minimum to 3 months, all because of availability of ships. But 1807, British passed a law said they stopped this trade. And that was led by one William Wilberforce. 1814, Dutch also passed the same law in Holland. But from that time to 1860, Africa, this trade did not stop. That alone continued for 40 years. So British named that one illegal. Have some people joining.
Half of my little short legs. I'm not doing this short.
So this is where we came from. Look. Can they see the window where I said they did the selection? Where the selection from? Don't bring out and go through a tunnel. Where the cannons are arranged now, there is a big hole underneath the cannons. The one with the blue window, that is the church. The church above the Anglican church. The church. These are graves in the yard. We have 1 and 3. This is for a Ghanaian by the name Philip Kweku. Kweku is a Ghanaian name. And the Kweku was corrupted into Kwaku because British could not pronounce our names properly. They made a Kweku Kwaku. This one, his father, worked with the British. So because of that, they took the son to England. There were 3 boys. There were Philip, Thomas, and William. When he got to England, the 2 died. He survived. British trained him as a pastor and a teacher. He came back to the country, then Gold Coast, as a pastor and a teacher preaching in the Anglican church. At that same time, black people were down, suffering for months. We could taught some mulatto children. He worked for the British for the rest of his life and died October 17, 1816, 75 years of age. So because he worked for them, that was the only reason why they honored him. So this is the person who later became Reverend Philip Parker. Apart from this man, all the Africans who died at the time were thrown into the sea. They were not buried. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's get closer. This is part of the tunnel. Just stretch your neck. You see a hole down there. This hole started from the mill dungeon where the shrine is. The men were not allowed to come outside. Please, they don't come out. They go through this from there. The exit. This was where they monitor their movements. They go to the final exit. Look at it. Let me go to the end. let's say this is the end of the tunnel. This is the end. And the tunnel is about 80 meters long from the beginning to this place. 80 meters. They walk from there, chain. When they reach here, at first, this was exit into the ships. The men would go this way into the ships. But due to the tidal waves, the sea was entering or coming to the castle. The British then blocked that side. This became the new entrance. So from instead of the men going this way to the ships, they pass here. But this side was blocked by McLean and Crystal, behind the grave. So we are going on today. Ladies and gentlemen, within the dungeons, British created 2 additional cells. Within the dungeon, they created 2 cells. One here, one over there. This one in particular was designed for some of the female captives that British wanted to rape, and the women refused. Europeans didn't come to Africa with their wives. You know why? Because of mosquitoes. Mosquitoes killed them to the extent that they named the coast of West Africa White Man's Grave. So only men like us came. Left their wives like you in England to take care of their children. Our British men who were here were adults. And they couldn't stay alone for a longer time without women. So they abused African women sexually. But sometimes they wanted to do that. Women would be fighting with them. They so refused rape. They boxed them at the door. They would lock them for a week for punishment. They were doing that for other women to see that tomorrow when they approach you, you wouldn't fight with them. There is a hole there. That hole was their toilets given to them. They pass food and water through this hole once in a day, sometimes twice. We're heading toward the female dungeons. Now, these and this were designed for women. We all started from the male section. This is women. So we shall all enter this one and see what happens. So let's go inside this one. Yes, sir. Women were 300 as against 1,000 men. So total 1,003 people at a given time. So 150 women were here, the same in the other one. And women shouldn't have been taken as captives or slaves. Because in my introduction, I told you the Africans were taken from here to go and work for Europeans at farms in Americas and Caribbean. So we talk of weeding and harvesting sugarcane, cotton, tobacco, rice, and working in the construction sectors. And in the mines, men like us would have been a preferred choice. But they took women also. And the question is, you know why? You know why? Breeding. To breed. Thank you. They were taken to go and breed so they get more people. When the women got to the 300, the whites forced them to multiply in their millions. They used them to work 400 years. $1 was not paid to them up to today. So in reality, Africans, we made them who they are today. So when you go 10 president Biden, they should give Africa a break. This time the women were treated like a man. Women go to toilets, they will urinate. At the end of every month, women pass their menstruations in these dungeons. Natural. They didn't allow them to bath, they didn't clean their teeth, they didn't give them sanitary pad for 3 solid months. And upon all this humiliation, Europeans still raped the African women. So anytime they wanted to do so, because they didn't come with their wives, they live upstairs, we go there later, they come from their rooms upstairs. You open this, but the other one, you look through the women. If you're the nice one, they'll select you. They will rape you. Those who refuse the rape, they brought them to this cell, punished them for like a week. Some of the African women got pregnant. So when you're ready to go, they see that you are pregnant. They wouldn't take you away. They free those slaves. They built houses for them in this town, Cape Coast, with bricks like this. Those who were kept in those houses, they became free. They gave them all they needed. When they give birth, sometimes they free their mother with a child. But they'll take care of their mother and a baby up to about 10 years or more. They'll go and take the lights needed for the money. They'll bring the mother here again to come and suffer as a slave. And they gave birth to mulattoes, or light-skinned children. The British gave names to those children. That is how come, along the coast of Ghana, where Europeans settled, we have light-skinned people. And some of the Ghanaians with some European surnames like Van Dyke, Van der Poel, Van Vick, Bartels, Da Costa, D'Souza, Johnson, Coulson, Thompson, Ferguson, Morrison, Williams, Anderson, Smith, Brown, Bruce, Hughes, Dixon, Bannerman, Taylor, Jackson, all the Simpsons. These names came out of raping black women. Before Europeans came to do this stuff, we were not having these names. They were typical African tribal names that if they mention, you know this person is a Gan, it's an Ashanti, it's a Yoruba, it's a Dagomba, it's a Kogomba man. Our names are for identification. And they couldn't pronounce those names, and they corrupted our name. That is one of the major reasons why it is becoming very, very difficult for all the African Americans in diaspora like you coming back today and be able to identify your direct families or tribes. Because if they allow your ancestors to maintain their tribal names, today that you are able to know whether you are a Ghana, an Asante, or Nakoma, or Yoruba. And look, if you come to Ghana today with names like Usain Bolt, Michael Jackson, Graham Free, Stephen Harvey, Spike Lee, LeBron James, ask the Ghanaians here, where will you go to? You can't go anywhere without these names. Any question? This is sad, but I don't know how we can change this. Let's see what.